Stafford High School. Stafford is 3-2 overall. They're 2-0 in the Commonwealth District, coached by Roger Pierce. And of course, some Blue Devil fans have encountered him before when he was down at King George. And Roger Pierce is kind of famous this summer because his wife gave birth to triplets in Culpeper Hospital and was well covered by the media. This is Brooks Green along with Brian Wolf here to bring you the ball game tonight. And the Blue Devils come in flying high, starting the second half of their season here, and hope to be able to stop Stafford here tonight. Stafford with an unbalanced tee offense. We're going to see a lot of motion, misdirection, a lot of three backs. The back they do have to stop, though, is Darrell Dawson, number 40. He scored on us last year. Culpeper won the ball game 43-7. Hope to repeat tonight. They have a sophomore quarterback, Brad Hayes, and the other running back is Jamil Ramsur. We saw these young men last year. Culpeper was able to handle them. Hope to handle them again this year. Some injuries still for Culpeper. Brandon Lambert is still out. David Winning has practiced, but he didn't have any contact this week. And Terrence Dinkins, of course, wide receiver with a hurt back. But we'll look for him to play. Curtis Robinson still hobbling. Blue Devils, though, with that high-powered offense, and, of course, led by Mike Jenkins, 11 touchdown passes so far this season to 6 different receivers. And the Blue Devils have also had 6 different rushers to score touchdowns on the ground for them. So that's what we call a balanced attack. Blue Devils come in with the 6-game total of 216 points. They're averaging 36 a game. The opponents have scored 115 points. That's 19 a game. So the Blue Devils have played really well on offense the last couple of weeks, and the defense is coming around as well. So we look for an exciting game. Join us in just a moment for the kickoff.
Thanks once again for catching.
The kickoff, they won the toss and elected to receive, and here comes the return. Blue Devils are in there on the defense and stop him right as he started to pick up the return. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Indians. Quarterback Brad Hayes brings the Indians up to the line for the first time tonight, and a little bit of motion there, and there's a flag. It was a false start penalty against the Blue Devils. It's 1st down and 5 now for the Indians. Got Dawson in the backfield, and that's who gets the ball running up the left side. No room there as the Blue Devils plow him under, and in that tackle looks like Dwella Dawes and amongst with Chris Smith and a couple other Blue Devils. And Hayes looks over the defense and hands off his side time here on the right side. Nice big hole for the Indians, and Stephen Barber saves an even bigger gain on that play.
That was Hillary, and Barber ran him down from behind. Chris Hillary, senior 5'8", 160 pounds, just scooted up the middle that time. And, of course, the Devils are starting without David Winning now. They've moved inside Gaskins along with Bailey there. Devils need to dig in now. First down for Stafford.
Hayes takes the snap, handoff right up the middle and met and dropped in there. Looks like number 32, Jeremy Bailey. A little bit of a no-huddle offense here for the Indians. Brad Hayes looks over the defense again and takes a snap, going over a pass out here to the far side, a little overthrown and incomplete. Nice catch by Dave Richardson there on the sideline. 3rd down and 16 for the Indians now. 10:37 to go in the open quarter. Got 3 running backs in the backfield and handoff there, and there's a whistle on the play. We'll have to see what this penalty's for. After an illegal procedure against the Indians, it's now 3rd down and 21. Kind of shooting themselves in the foot on this drive. It's pass out here to the near side and off the fingertips. Same play as before. Looks like it was allowed. He throws the ball, and it looks like it's completed here on the near side, but Stephen Barber's there for the tackle along with Chris Gaskins and Glasgow.
I like to say it's just the way they drew it up, but I don't believe it was. They almost threw it over his head and out of bounds. He did it to the opposite side of the field just a moment ago. He picks up the ball and gets it down the sideline now. So small pickup. It's still going to be a long ways for Stafford to go here. Bring up 4th and 20 from the 28, looks like.
And there's a snap, and here comes the punt by the Indians, and the kick has gotten away. And back deep, Stephen Barber and Stephon Orange. Neither one will return it. It's down by the Indians right about just short of the midfield stripe. It's time for the Blue Devils' first possession of the football game. 9:44 to go in the first quarter. 1st down and 10 for the Blue Devils. Formation, but pass out to the far side to Dinkins, and he cuts it up the field and then back outside, breaks one tackle, and brought down near the 1st down marker. 2nd down and 1 for the Blue Devils. And handoff up the middle to Crop, breaks the first tackle, and it's off to the races here. Tries to bust it outside, another broken tackle, and he's finally gang tackled here on the near sideline.
Blue Devil receivers taking a lot of pride in their block, and it was Cagle trying to get one up front that time. Talking to those young men in 6th period this week, and turns to Dink and said, "Man, did you see my block?" And I said, "Well, I saw the one Cagle had last week after he caught that great touchdown." And I told Lou I thought that was a really good sign to taking pride not only in their receptions but also in their blocking downfield. That means good things for the future there. So.
1st and 10 for the Blue Devils. Jenkins takes a snap from Jason Miller. Handoff, Brandon Jones around the right side. So same play we saw last week. Cross the first down marker and heading towards the Indians' 20-yard line.
Last week, of course, it was 12 carries for over 250 yards, and, you know, that's over 20 yards a carry, and he's going to stay pretty close to that average here. Picks up another first down for the Devils, put on about the 23. We'll say that was a 14-yard pickup.
1st and 10 for the Blue Devils. 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Handoff to Crop. Tries the middle of that line. Drags one tackler and almost breaks the tackle. Hangs onto the ball and is dropped there after a short gain. That penalty flag was against the Indians for a face mask. It's now 1st and goal for the Blue Devils. And there's a snap. Pitch out around to Brandon Jones around that right side. Looks for that hole. Heads for the end zone. Nice stiff arm, and he's in for the touchdown.
Devils look really sharp on offense the first time down there. It's a 10-yard touchdown run for Brandon Jones. He carried once on that drive for 15 yards. The Devils started on their own 48 and punched it in. Made 3 first downs and looked real smart. So Lou Sorrentino coming back to Stafford when he coached and taught here for 6 years. Talking to Jim Jones, the athletic director, before the ball game. And he said, yeah, he coached my 2 sons. Of course, Todd Campbell was a wide receiver for Lou Sorrentino. So it's homecoming, and the Devils are starting off well, making the coaches look good.
Mike Jenkins on, Mike Greenway on for the PAT, and it's high enough, and it's through the uprights for a good point after try. 7:20 to go in the first quarter play. The Blue Devils now lead the football game 7-0 over the Stafford Indians. And here's Mike Greenaway's kickoff. It's high to the far side, and it looks like number 5, Hugh Parker, on the return. And the Blue Devils set up the defense, and he turns his nose up and runs right up the field. And Jeremy Bailey on the tackle there on special teams. 1st and 10 for the Indians. 7:13 to go in the first quarter. They're at their own 31-yard line, looking to improve on their first drive where they were not very successful. Handoff up the left side, and in on that tackles Adwella Dawes and Jeremy Bailey. Good defense by the Blue Devils. Brad Hayes takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolling here to the near side, pitch up the middle to Dawson, and Stephen Barber grabs a hold of that shirt tail and doesn't let him get too far.
Pretty good play. You see that a lot in college. That was kind of an option play. He's running to the side and then flips it forward. And, of course, if he doesn't catch it, it goes incomplete there because it's forward pass. And looks like they're waving off the flag here, which they thought they'd thrown.
After an official's timeout for a measurement, the Indians are just short of that first down marker at their own 40-yard line. And quarterback keeps it himself. A little bit of a hole, a big hole there. And ball is loose there at the end of the play. We're going to have to see if the whistle blew or not, and it looks like it did.
Blue Devils are blitzing that time. Nice to see Daniel Winning in the ball game, but he went through the wrong hole, and the quarterback read it and came right up the middle behind the center and picks up the first down there.
1st and 10 for an Indians. Nice tackle on that last play by Stefan Orange, and they're in Blue Devil territory now. Fake handoff, drop back to pass, wide open over the middle, just overthrown. Looks like he could have laid out for it and caught that pass, but he didn't make the attempt. 2nd and 10 for the Indians from the Blue Devil 45-yard line. 5:36 to go in the first quarter. Handoff up the right side. Nice big hole there. And on the first hit there, Stephen Barber and Jeremy Bailey and Chris Smith. 3rd and short for the Indians. Now 3rd and 3 to be exact. 4:53 to go in the first quarter. Indians are on the move. Quarterback keeper again. Doesn't quite get as far this time. It's going to be close to that first down, but the Blue Devils looks like they stop them short. And you won't believe this, Blue Devil fans, and it's about a wafer-thin distance there to that first down marker. They just missed it. It's 4th and inches. Quarterback keeps the ball, and it looks like he got across the yard line there to pick up that first down. It's another first down for the Indians. 1st down 10 from the Blue Devils 34-yard line. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. And snap, quick snap. Blitz is on. Daniel Winning there. Pass. I guess that was a pass to the far side, and they blow the whistle dead.
That's the pressure the Devils wanted to bring. You saw Winning to shoot through the gap that time, and it does go incomplete. It wasn't a backwards pass. The Devils have been all over it there. So Stafford started on their own 31, has now reached Blue Devils 34. That's the 8th play of this drive. Devils scored with 7:20 to go in the first quarter on Brandon Jones' 10-yard run. Looked sharp, took them 4 plays to do it. Like to get the ball back and start another march.
2nd down and 10 for the Indians. In Blue Devil territory, fake handoff. Quarterback keeper again tries to cut up the field, and Gaskins looks like just tripped him up, and he's going to fall down after a short gain. After an Indians timeout, it's 3rd down and 8 with 3:14 to go in the first quarter. Back to pass, and here comes the blitz. Pass has gotten away. It's completed. It's got a wall of blockers. Craig Rogers tries to slow him up. Jeremy Bailey finally brings him down out there near the 20-yard line.
Pretty good play call and cat and mouse game going on right now. They brought pressure from the other side with Dawes that time, but he slithers away, gets downfield, and picks up the first down. That's the 10th play of the drive, and Stafford keeps it alive.
1st and 10 for the Indians. They're eating up the rest of this first quarter here. 2:35 to go. And there's a handoff right up the right side. Big hole. Tries to juke it outside, and finally the Blue Devils recover and tackle him. 1st and 10 for the Indians from the Blue Devil 12-yard line. So they can get a first down before going into the end zone. Man in motion to the far side, and that's where the run's going. Out around that far side is Hillary. Stephen Barber grabs the shirt tail again, and Gaskins adds on the tackle there after a short gain. 2nd down and 8 for the Indians as the Blue Devils need to hold them out of the end zone here. And snap, and there's a handoff up the middle, and the big tackle there by Brian Duncan and a couple other Blue Devils to stop him after no gain. Looks like Jeremy Bailey. After another Indians timeout, it's 3rd and 8 with 44 seconds to go in the first quarter. Rolling out here near side. It looks like he's going back to the far side, and Craig Rogers in on their defense, and it looks like the quarterback just threw it out of the back of the end zone. It's Blake Willis on to try the field goal attempt. 26-yard field goal attempt by the Indians. And there's a snap. Snap's good, the hold's good, the kick is up, looks like it's long enough, and it's through the uprights for a successful field goal. 31 seconds to go in the first quarter of play now. The Blue Devils lead the Stafford Indians 7-3. Here's the kickoff by the Indians. Back deep is Brandon Jones, and the ball rolls here to the near side, and Addison Deal picks it up, tries to switch the field, trying to make the far corner this time. Another block there is Brandon Jones, and looks like he's dropped after running about 30 yards, but very short gain on that return. 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils. Only the 2nd time they've had the ball tonight. Actually, they've only had it for 4 plays tonight, and we're almost through the first quarter. We have 4 wide receivers this time. Handoff right up the middle, and big gain to Crop, and he's pushed back after about a 5-yard gain. And that's the end of the first quarter of play. The Culpeper County Blue Devils lead the Stafford Indians 7-3.
Thanks for catching that Culpeper feeling with us on Channel 21. We love bringing you Culpeper Blue Devil football. These games are brought to you by the generosity of the following businesses and individuals.
Champion Chevrolet, where they've got the home field advantage.
Brandon Jones cuts it up the middle, and he's going to be short gain on the play. 3rd and 1 for the Blue Devils. Got Cagle and Dinkins to the far side. Handoff right up the middle to Crop, and he falls ahead for the first down. 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils now at their own 32-yard line. Fake handoff to Crop. Pitch around the left side. Brandon Jones. Same play we saw last week, and similar results as he's tackled up near the first down marker.
I'll tell you, if he hadn't got him with that tackle, he was going to cut back to the sideline. He'd be off for one of those. In that case, it would have been 78 yards, and I think he had one of 78 last week. It'd been 68 yards, I guess. So Devils look good on offense. First time he had the ball. Jones got a 10-yard touchdown run. Stafford held the ball and led to a 26-yard field goal. Devils have it again, picked up the first down of this drive.
Mike Jenkins takes a snap, handoff around the end of Brandon Jones, met right about the line of scrimmage and dropped after no gain. 2nd down and 10 for the Blue Devils, 9:55 to go in the first half. Jenkins back to pass, going to the far side, and Dinkins makes the catch and is tackled out of bounds just short of the first down marker.
Really good fingertip control that time. He went higher to snare the ball. The Devils are starting to mix it in now. Look for them to air it out a little more on this drive. It didn't have to on the first drive, and they want to get mixture in there. We said before the game, 6 different players have scored rushing touchdowns. 6 different players have scored receiving a pass. So the Devils can mix it up.
3rd and 3 for the Blue Devils with Crop and Souter in the backfield, and Dinkins to the far side. Looks like they jumped off sides, or there's a flag. We'll have to see what the call is. It was an illegal procedure call against the Blue Devils, pushes them back to the 47-yard line. 3rd down and 8 now. Jenkins back to pass, looking to the far side, pump fakes, going deep. And he's got a man wide open, Terrence Dinkins. He's heading for the end zone and breaks the tackle and rumbles right in that end zone for a touchdown.
You know, we talked about it in class last week and talked to Lou Sorrentino about it yesterday, about these young men and padding the stats and all the scoring that they want to get and all the receptions they want to get, and said, man, you just take care of business here and the stats will take care of themselves. And sure enough, there he goes with that pump fake. How many times have we seen that? He beats his man to the far side and then rolls down the field, and that's a 53-yard touchdown pass to Dinkins. That's Mike Jenkins' 12th touchdown pass of the year. And on to add the extra point is Greenway now.
Dinkins' 5th reception. Snap by Jenkins, the hold by Orange, and the kick is up, and it's long enough. and through the uprights.
Out of the hold, number 21, Stefan Orange.
9:37 to go in the first half of play. The Culpeper County Blue Devils lead the Stafford Indians 14-3. Comes Mike Greenaway's kickoff. Back deep is Dawson for the Indians and falls just short of Dawson's. And up the field are the Indians, and in on that tackle there is Addison Deal and Stephen Barber. 1st and 10 for the Indians now from their own 24-yard line. As they looked to match the last drive, and it looks like the Blue Devils jumped offsides. After that offsides penalty is now 1st down and 5 from the 29-yard line. Hayes looks over the defense, long count, handoff right up the middle, busts it outside, and it's got the 1st down and a couple extra yards. In on that tackle is Stefan Orange and Matt Gaskins. 1st down and 10 for the Indians, 8:55 to go in the first half. Basic smash mouth football right up the middle, another big hole as he kind of rumbles forward there, a gain of about 5 yards. 2nd and 4 for the Indians. They have 2 wideouts to the far side and 2 in the backfield. Handoff up the right side, another big hole. Up near the 1st down marker are the Indians. In on that tackle is Gaskins and Adwella Dawes. 1st and 10 for the Indians. They're now out to their own 46-yard line, 7:35 to go in the first half. Long snap count once again. Handoff same side, right side this time. The Blue Devils are in there. Gabe Fuller and a host of other Blue Devils to make the tackle. 2nd and 8 for the Indians. Full house backfield. Fake, a handoff to, roll around here to the near side, and the Blue Devils looks like Adwella Dawes. Yes, he's got the sack. The whistle blows to play dead.
Just wouldn't give up. Really good determination. A strong pressure up the middle that time, and Dawes got him and slung him around a couple of times, and the refs blew the whistle just as he's about to break free. So big defensive play. We just said a moment ago, Devils haven't thrown anybody for a loss, but that's going to bring up 3rd and 19, spotted back on the 37.
Big play for the Blue Devils defense here as the Indians face a 3rd down and 19. Back to pass is Hayes going to the far side. He's got a man open, but he overthrows him out of bounds. And it'll be 4th down for the Indians. 4th down and long for the Indians. Here comes the low snap, and the Blue Devils are there. It's a fake punt here. Looks to run it up the field, and the Blue Devils are there, well short of the 1st down. The Blue Devils are going to get the ball in Indian territory. 1st down and 10 for the Blue Devils at the Stafford 43-yard line, working in a short field here, see if they can take advantage. Fake handoff around the end to Addison Deal. Looks to cut it up the field. Falls down after about a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 for the Blue Devils. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Handoff to Brandon Jones. He cuts it outside, back inside, drags one man, and falls down out there about 2 yards short of the 1st down marker. 3rd and 2 for the Blue Devils. We got Dinkins and Cagle here to the near side. Jenkins looks over the defense, and there's a flag on the play. The Blue Devils pick up that 1st down the easy way as the Indians were flagged for encroachment. Handoff right up the middle to Crop, cuts it outside, looking there for that end zone, drags one man, brought down by another one about the 15-yard line of the Indians.
Mays, real good block up the middle that time, springs him for the pickup, and Devils started on the Stafford 43 and made a 1st down, but it looks like it's a penalty on that play.
After that holding penalty, it's now 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils. Take that penalty spot from the infraction. Jenkins back to pass. Looking deep over the middle, fingertip catch. Dinkins into the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Devils.
All right, for Dinkins, that's his 6th touchdown reception of the year. He's added 2 tonight and gets the Devils up to 20-3. Good pass protection that time from Mike Jenkins. Lofted the ball through the night, and the Blue Devil fans on the far side are ecstatic. And this Blue Devil quick strike offense, we're getting all the ink this week. We're getting all the coverage here. Last week was North Stafford and that famous no huddle, and the Blue Devils held them down. But the Blue Devils are everything they cracked up to be tonight, and they're putting the points on the board. Here's Greenaway on to attempt the 21st point.
There's the snap, the hold by Orange. The kick is up and through the uprights. 3:47 to go in the first half of play. The Culpeper Blue Devils now lead the football game 21-3 over the Stafford Indians. There's the kickoff by Greenaway. It's a high, deep kick. Back about the 5-yard line are the Indians, and he brings it out. He's at his 20. Follows one blocker, and in that tackle looks like Brad Cagle. A lot of extra hitting going on there, but regardless, it's going to be 1st down and 10 for the Indians. 1st and 10 for the Indians. They're at their own 25-yard line. Hayes takes the snap. Hand off to Dawes around the right side. Breaks a tackle. Gaskins finally falls out on him, but it's down there for a 1st down.
Really got to keep an eye on Dawson. He had the lone touchdown of the game last year. Culpeper beat him 43-7, and would like to repeat up here at Stafford. Real nice place. Nice to see Jim Jones for the ball game, the athletic director, and they always take real good care of us here. We're impressed with the band, the cheerleaders, the whole deal. The Devils just like to beat them real bad and move on to James Wood next week.
First down and 10 for the Indians. They're at their own 35-yard line. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Handoff straight up the middle, turns around, spins around, and Chris Smith tries to hold on, and Stefan Orange finally makes the tackle. First and 10 for the Indians at their own 47-yard line. Hurry up offense. Handoff around the right side to Dawson. Breaks another tackle and falls across the first down marker to the Blue Devils' 40-yard line. 3 running plays and 3 first downs for the Indians. They're in Blue Devil territory. One man in motion, handoff straight up the middle of Ramshore, and the Blue Devils are there to stop them after no gain. Second down and 8 for the Indians. We're at 1:44 to go in the first half. Fake handoff deep over the middle. The Blue Devils are there on the defense, and the pass falls incomplete. Third and 8 for the Indians. The clock sits at 1:36 to go in the first half. There's a snap, back to pass again. Blue Devils are on a blitz. Curtis Robinson gives chase. Screen pass over here. Blue Devils sniff it out. Nice play made by Jeremy Bailey. Stops it for no gain.
You know, it's like a Tennessee earning 16 tons. The right one doesn't get you, then the left one will. And Curtis Robinson put in the pressure on one side. And that was a dangerous pass lofted across the field. And then Bailey was right on spot. He was right in the middle of that pass play. And that's the Devils playing most impressively on defense we've seen on this drive. Some good running by Stafford. Started on the 25, and they've reached the Blue Devils now on the 46. There's a minute to go before halftime, the turning clock, and looks like they're going to punt it away.
And there's the punt, just gets it away. Back deep are the Blue Devils. It's Stephen Barber with the ball, breaks it to the outside. A little bit of room here, puts his head down, and a nice pickup on that punt return by Stephen Barber. First and 10 for the Blue Devils at their own 29-yard line. 46 seconds to go in the first half. We'll have to see what the Blue Devils do with the ball here before halftime. Jenkins looks over the defense. Long snap count here. Dropping back to pass, looking deep. And that's where he's throwing. It's got Brandon Jones over the middle. And nice catch by Brandon Jones out of at the receiver position that time, Brooks.
I'll tell you, that was really something. Jones lined up as a deep back, and then they split him out to the right side of the field. And when that ball was snapped, he took off like a streak down the field. Mike Jenkins fired the ball deep down to him. It goes all the way down to the, looks like the 29-yard line on the 30, let's say.
36 seconds to go in the first half. The Blue Devils are at the Indians' 30-yard line. First and 10. Got 3 wideouts to the far side. And there's a snap. Jenkins is looking to pass. Looking over the middle. Just gets the ball away, and the ball falls incomplete. Looks like he had Brandon Jones open over the middle. Second and 10 for the Blue Devils. 30 seconds to go in the first half. Still sitting at the 30-yard line of the Indians. Jenkins back to pass. Blitz up the middle. Gets the ball away. John Cagle on the far side, and he fumbles the ball, and it looks like the Indians fall on it before it goes out of bounds.
That's right, and it'll be a disappointing end to the first half for the Devils. We're going to have some Peg's cookies here, and we're going to be fine at halftime. Cagle had it and was looking upfield. Don't think he had the block, and he had to get out of bounds. There's 20 seconds left in the first half, so the Devils are going to take a 21-3 lead to halftime, more than likely. One snap here for North Stafford. For Stafford Indians, the bait will do it.
First and 10 for the Indians. 19 seconds to go in the first half. Let's see if they air it out or not. And it looks like the Blue Devils jumped off sides. First and 5 for the Indians now. They're at their 35-yard line. And it's a quarterback keeper right up the middle. Tries to pick up a couple yards, but the Blue Devils stop them short of the first down. That might be the end of the first half. And that's the end of the first half of play. The Culpeper County Blue Devils lead the Stafford County Indians 21-3. And welcome back, Blue Devil fans, for the second half of play. The Blue Devils get the ball first, and it looks like Addison Deal on the return here, and he is stopped after a short gain on the kickoff return. The Blue Devils start the second half, first down and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Have a single back in the field and 4 wideouts. Quick handoff up the middle to Crop, and the Indians are there to stop the play, and that looks like a loss on the play. Second down and 10 now for the Blue Devils at their own 25. Jenkins deep drop pass. The blitz is on. He eats the ball on a big sack on a play by the Indians. Third and long now. Mike Jenkins off the field with an injury. Craig Rogers in at quarterback. Just a handoff up the left side to Crop. Tries to bust it out. John Cagle on the block there and turns it up the field. And a short gain on the play. It's going to be fourth down for the Blue Devils. Trying back to punt the ball for the Blue Devils. He gets the snap, gets the punt away. Nice kick by back. and backs the Indians up to about their 35-yard line, and he's coming here to the near side, and he's got a corner, and he gets there. Big block by the Indians, big punt return here, and he returns it into Blue Devil territory.
Gaskins was shaking him from behind, but Philip Young had to make the tackle, and Mike Jenkins shaking up over on the far sideline. We'll see how he is in just a moment, but the Devils go 3 and out, and best field position to start a drive for Stafford here with 9:41 in the third quarter. Devils lead at 21-3, but they need to stop Stafford right here.
1st and 10 for the Indians. They're at the Blue Devil 40-yard line. 9:41 to go in the third quarter. Hand off to Dawson around the right side, and Jeremy Bailey gives chase, and he's tripped up on the play and falls down after a pickup of about 3 or 4 yards. 2nd and 7 for the Indians at the 43-yard line. Hand off straight up the middle, and Jeremy Bailey in there on the tackle, first man to hit him. Also in that play, Matt Gaskins. 3rd and 5 for the Indians at the 35-yard line of the Blue Devils. The Devils look to make an early stand here. Hand off to Dawson around the right side. Big hole, looking for that end zone, and a short tackle by Gaskins is all that saved that touchdown.
I know Curtis Robinson hadn't liked to have that play back because they kicked him to the outside and cut up inside the linebacker that time, and he was off for the first down. It's very impressive here, and the Stafford Indians are getting fired up on this side of the field. Picks up the first down to the 18 now. 1st and 10, 8:17 to go in the third quarter. Devils lead at 21-3, but Stafford is threatening.
Hayes takes the snap. Hand off to Dawson. Same play around the right side. Good blocking by the Indians, and the Blue Devils recover and push them back after a short gain. 2nd down and 7 for the Indians. 7:30 to go in the third quarter. Hayes takes the snap, delayed handoff, and blitzing Devil there just misses him. And Philip Young and Gaskins in there on that tackle for the Blue Devils. 3rd down and 6 for the Indians. And there's the snap taken by Hayes. Dawson around the right side again. Back tries to make him. And he's into the end zone for a touchdown for the Indians. Stafford on to add the extra point. There's a snap. The hold's down, and the kick is up. And it looks like it's through the uprights. 6:47 to go in the third quarter. The Culpeper County Blue Devils lead the Stafford Indians 21-10. Here's the kickoff by the Indians. Brandon Jones back deep. Looks like Addison Deal with the ball here. Turns it back here to the near side and is running backwards here. Mowed down by the Indians. No gain on that return. 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils at their own 20-yard line. Mike Jenkins back in quarterback now for the Blue Devils. Hand off to Brandon Jones around the left side. Good blocking by Brian Duncan. Big hole. John Cagle out there as well, and he's out there to the first down marker.
Yeah, that's him. That's Roger Pierce. And there's a shot of Roger Pierce, who is in his 3rd year up here at Stafford.
2nd down, a short one for the Blue Devils. Mike Jenkins keeps the ball and falls over for the first down. 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils. 5:35 to go in the third quarter. Hand off to Crop up the middle, and no gain on that play as he is pushed backwards. 2nd down and 10 for the Blue Devils. Back to pass is Jenkins here to the near side. Got Dinkins wide open, tippy toes that sideline, bounces around, but looks like he stepped out of bounds, Brooks.
His spin move got the best of him that time. He's too close to the sideline there, but a nice pickup for the Devils, and the Devils have come back after giving up a touchdown a moment ago. Very impressive Stafford drive, and there to score to 21-10. Devils started on their own 20 and now have reached midfield.
1st and 10 for the Blue Devils at the 50-yard line. Jenkins back to pass again. The blitz is on. He gets hit in the backfield, tries to keep his feet, and falls down after a loss about 4 yards on the play. 2nd down and 15 for the Blue Devils. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Pitch here to Brandon Jones around the right side this time. Nice little hole. He's busting that sideline there and tackled by about 3 Indians after a nice pickup.
Kevin Mays out front that time, convoying him down the sideline, and he tippy-toed, but he did step out there. So it's going to be short of the first down, but the Devils will be facing third here. There's 3:52 to go in the third quarter. Devils lead it 21-10.
3rd and 3 for the Blue Devils is Crop and Jones in the backfield. Pitch out to Dinkins around the far side, and he's got the first down and a little bit more, and tackled out of bounds by Devon Green.
Look for him to come back to that play because Cagle had the screening block out there, and if he could got one of those guys on the ground, we might have seen that spin move and take off farther down the sideline. But the Devils pick up their 3rd first down of this drive. Started on their own 20, and Devils been very impressive. 3:40 to go in the third quarter now.
1st down and 10. They're at the Indians' 35-yard line. 3:15 to go in the third quarter. It's Crop in the backfield, and that's who gets the ball straight up the middle. He's got first down yardage and more as he's down to the 20-yard line, and inside the 20, he's finally tackled.
Oh, I like that real strong blocking up front. He takes off from his 35 and they knock him out bounds. That's a fourth first down of this drive for the Devils, and they've taken it to heart here. They've been challenged. It's 21-10. This game's not over by a long shot, but the Devils are showing what they're made of on this drive.
After another first down pickup, the Blue Devils are now at the 18-yard line with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Pitch around to Brandon Jones, again around the right side, looks for a hole, falls ahead after a gain of about 5 yards. Second down now for the Blue Devils. They're at the Indians' 15-yard line. Got John Cagle in motion. Jenkins back to pass, looking over the middle, a little bit high off the fingertips of Dinkins. After a Blue Devil timeout, it's 3rd down and 7 at the Indians' 15-yard line. 2:20 to go in the third quarter. Jenkins looks over the defense and takes the snaps back to pass, looking to the far side, and a little bit inside off the fingertips of Dinkins, incomplete. 4th down for the Blue Devils, and it's Greenaway on to attempt the 33-yard field goal. There's a snap, good hold. Kick is up, and looks like it is just wide. 2:11 to go in the third quarter of play. The Blue Devils still lead the football game 21-10 over the Stafford Indians. 1st and 10 for the Indians. Hayes takes the snap, hand off to Dawson around the right side. Same play. Looks like the Blue Devils recognize it, and in on that tackle is Ryan Beck. 2nd down and 10 for the Indians. No gain on that last play. Quick handoff up the right side. Ramseur and tries to keep the knees churning, but the Blue Devils bring him down. Nice tackle by the Blue Devil defense. 3rd and 8 now for the Indians in their own territory. Fake handoff roll here to the near side pass, and it's Dawes on the blitz. Ball's tipped and intercepted by Stephen Barber. Good job, Stephen Barber, on the interception.
That's what we've been looking for, the big play on defense. Devils had a break early in the second quarter when he had a bad snap on the punt, put the Devils in position to get a touchdown pass from Mike Jenkins to Terrence Dinkins, and that time looked like Stafford's about to go 3-8, but real good pressure on the quarterback, and ball was tipped, and of course stumbling, bumbling, and tumbling at the end there. Stephen Barber comes up with the interception. It's 52 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Devils have got it on Stafford's 35 now, looking to add 7 more.
It's Cagle and Dinkins to the far side, and Crop here in the backfield, and Jenkins looks over the defense and hand off to Brandon Jones around the left side, and stopped after a short gain on the play.
We'll see him when they have him.
2nd down and 8 for the Blue Devils, and Brandon Jones breaking out wide here to the near side, and Cagle and Dinkins to the far side, and fake handoff, quick pitch over the middle, intended for Ryan Beck, pass incomplete. 3rd and 8 now for the Blue Devils. 8 seconds to go in the third quarter. Jenkins back to pass, deep drop, right over the middle, intended for Dinkins, and off the mark, pass incomplete. 4th down now for the Blue Devils. 4th and 8, 3.7 seconds to go in the third quarter. Jenkins back to pass, short drop, ball's tipped a little bit at the line of scrimmage, intended for Dinkins, pass incomplete. That's the end of the third quarter of play. The Blue Devils lead the football game over the Stafford Indians 21-10.
Thanks for catching that.
I'd like to thank all the Blue Devil fans that made a long trip down Route 17 tonight to watch the Blue Devils play. I think I counted earlier tonight, there were about 150 of them over there. So good job, Blue Devil fans, for coming out to support your high school football team. 1st and 10 for the Indians at their own 33. Handoff straight up the middle. Nice tackle there by Jeremy Bailey, and an extra hit laid on by Stephen Barber. 2nd down and 7 now for the Indians. 2 wideouts here to the near side, and Rames takes the handoff right up the middle there, and short gain on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd down and long for the Indians. 3rd down now for the Indians at their own 40-yard line. 10:50 to go in the ball game. And there's a snap, hand off to Dawson around the near side here. Ryan Beck wraps him up along with Stephen Barber and Adwella Dawes. 4th and a short 3 for the Indians. 10:15 to go in the ball game. Got Stephen Barber and Stefan Orange back deep to return the punt. High snap. Blue Devils are there, but just missed that block attempt. And here is Stefan Orange with the return. Makes the first man miss. Has got the sideline. And looks like he just stepped out of bounds here at about the 40-yard line. Blue Devils are back on offense now. 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. 9:57 to go in the ball game. And it's a handoff to Brandon Jones. Cuts it up the middle. Gain of about 2 or 3 yards on the play. Second down and 7 for the Blue Devils. 9:15 to go in the ball game. Pitch here around the near side to Brandon Jones. Cuts it up the field, and a shirt tackle there by the Stafford Indians. Stops him before he gets in big yardage. Gain of about 2 or 3 yards on the play. 3rd and 5 for the Blue Devils at their own 45-yard line. Jenkins back to pass there to the far side. Completed the Dinkins. Nice reception, and he is tackled at about the 45-yard line.
Nice slant in that time. Ball well thrown, and he had his man beat. Had the inside position. He'll pick up the first down. They'll stop the clock to move the chains. There's 8:24 to go in the ball game. Culpeper leads at 21-10. And of course, the two big plays that have given them the margin were both touchdown passes to Terrence Dinkins, both in the second quarter. One covering 53 yards and the second one for 30 yards. And that was a great fingertip grab that he lurched into the end zone with. Devils now with 1st and 10 on the 45.
There's a snap handoff to Crop up the right side and grabbed around the head and brought down after a pickup of about 4 yards. 2nd and 6 for the Blue Devils. They're at the Indians' 41-yard line. Handoff to Crop once again around the side. The Blue Devils keeping it on the ground, trying to run the clock down. Gain of about 2 or 3 yards on the play. 3rd down and a short 3 for the Blue Devils. Let's see if the Indians blitz this time, and there is one up the right side there, but Crop tries to get that first down. We're going to have to wait on the spot. It's 4th and a short 1 for the Blue Devils. 6:15 to go. Jenkins keeper, big hole, makes the first man miss and brought down by the free safety. Jenkins lands hard, but he gets that first down.
Who says Mike can't run that ball? They saw something came right up the middle with the quarterback sneak. I was guessing they were going to draw him off sides. That's the second first down of this drive. Devils started on their own 40. There were a little less than 10 minutes left. It's a little less than 6 minutes now, and the Devils will snap it this time from the Stafford 29. They already lead 21-10 and put on the clinching touchdown here.
Jenkins sets the line, and it's a Crop again up the right side and falls ahead for about 3 yards as the Blue Devils keep the ball on the ground. 2nd and 7 for the Blue Devils. Wind down 5 minutes to go in the game. They're at the 27 of the Indians, and the play is whistled dead. 2nd down and 12 for the Blue Devils after a legal procedure call. Jenkins back to pass. The blitz is on, picked up there by Souter. It looks like the ball is caught by Dinkins. And did he stay in bounds or catch the ball? And yes, he did. He caught the ball just short of the end zone.
Good break for the Devils. We'll never know on the far sideline. Now you can't really see the sideline, but he had it on his fingertips. He had to bobble a couple times, but he brings the ball in. Dinkins has been the real deal tonight with 2 touchdown receptions, and of course, 1 reception early on this drive, and now this pass that gets them down to the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Devils. 4.5 minutes left in the ball game. They lead 21-10.
1st and goal for the Blue Devils. Handoff to Crop. Tries to bounce it here to the outside, and he is run down from behind and from in the front and tackled for no gain on the play.
Got to give Stafford credit. They're going to make it interesting now. They're not going to give up against the Devils. They've hit hard tonight. They came in with a good game plan. They've stuck to it. Hats off to Roger Pierce. Devils got close to that 27-yard pass from Mike Jenkins down to Terrence Dinkins, but now they throw him back for a 2-yard loss. The next snap will be with less than 4 minutes to go in the ball game.
Second down and goal for the Blue Devils. They're at the 7-yard line of the Indians. We've got Crop in the backfield again, but it's Souter that gets the ball, and he's met in the backfield and dropped for a loss. 3rd and goal for the Blue Devils. They're at the 9-yard line now. Got Brandon Jones in the backfield. Jenkins back to pass. Dinkins on that far side there, and it's going to, we'll have to see if he gets it in. Dinkins for another touchdown for the Blue Devils.
I'll tell you, and that settles it there. There's a player of the game at Terrence Dinkins with his 3rd touchdown reception of the year, of the game. He came in with 4, and he now has up to 7 in this ball game. So that goes for the 9-yard touchdown reception, and that ball was zipped across the far corner of the end zone. Dived, laid out for it, hung on to it, and brings it in. That gets the score up to 27-10. Greenaway on to add the extra point now. Super pass and super reception by Dinkins. 3 touchdown receptions tonight. He's done it all for the Devils.
Snap the hold. The kick is up and through the uprights for a good PAT. 3:01 to go in the ball game. The Blue Devils now lead 28-10 over the Stafford Indians. Here comes Greenaway's kickoff, and it's high and deep, and return about the 10-yard line for the Indians, and he's cutting it back up the middle, a little bit of a wall, but runs into his own blockers and is brought down by Addison Deal on the special teams. 1st and 10 for the Indians, 2:53 to go in the ball game. Hand off to Dawson here around the right side, a little bit of a hole, and Stephen Barber wraps him up and makes the tackle along with Stephon Orange. It's a 1st down for the Indians. They're out to their 34-yard line with the turning clock. Dawson again, same play around the right side, same results. A little bit shorter this time. It'll be about a 7-yard gain. Hurry up offense for the Indians. We're down to 2:10 to go in the ball game. 2nd down and 2. Handoff around the left side, and Aduela Dawes makes the first hit and stops him short of the 1st down.
Devils still playing hard on defense too, and Dawes blitzed in there and was able to grab him around the ankles. 1:57 left in the ball game. Devils going to come away with a victory here tonight, and Lou Sorrentino happy to be back in Stafford when he coached. Talked to Jim Jones before the game, had some of Peg's cookies at halftime. The athletic director turns and he hands off. Here goes Dawson again. We're just talking here about how hard he runs, and he's certainly the outstanding player for Stafford here tonight, but just not enough against the Devils. It looks like it's going to be a timeout now.
4th and 4 for the Indians now. 1:33 to go in the ball game. Hand off to Dawson here around the right side. He's got that 1st down. A little bit more. Off to the races. He should be into the end zone for a touchdown for the Indians.
Well, I tell you can say it's cosmetic if you want to, but it means a lot to Stafford. It's going to give him a chance to try an onside kick here in just a moment. That misdirection at the very end of the game fooled the Devils. It was 4th and 4, a 60-yard touchdown play, and that's something for the coaches to look at in the film room and show the young men next week for the Blue Devils. That shows you what can happen. Good thing it didn't happen in the 1st quarter. Devils tended to that knitting, though. Did a good job. 7-3 lead after 1 quarter. They got it up to 21-3 at halftime. Stafford won the 3rd quarter 7-0, and exchanged touchdowns here in the 4th quarter. So Dawson with a 60-yard touchdown run to add to his stats.
After timeout, the Indians line up to go for 2. 3 running backs in the backfield, and handoff to round the right side. He should be in there, and he's in for 2 points. 1:23 to go in the ball game. The Blue Devils now lead 28-18 over the Stafford Indians. See, here comes the onside kick by the Indians, and it looks like Cagle with the reception here. John Cagle around the right side and falls down after a little bit of a pickup on that onside kick. 1st and 15 for the Blue Devils after an illegal substitution penalty. 1:17 to go in the ball game. Handoff right up the middle to Crop as the Blue Devils look to run out the clock and get out of here with a victory. 2nd and 13 for the Blue Devils after a Stafford timeout. Pitch around the right side to Brandon Jones, looking for a hole. Got a big hole there and brought down up close to the 1st down marker.
We saw Dawson padding his stats a moment ago, and I tell you, if they hadn't pulled down Brandon Jones, he was going to pad his, and that would have been about a 57-yard touchdown run. But there's 50 seconds left in the ball game, and the clock is flying down the herd. It'll be 3rd and 4, 1 more snap for the Devils. They'll get their record up to 7-0 and head on here in Jameswood next week. Then an open week back home for homecoming with Brook Point, and then Fauquier for the 10th game on the road.
Jenkins with a snap on 3rd down. Handoff to Crop up the right side, and he's busted loose here a little bit. 1 man to beat, but 3 of them recover and tackle him deep in Indians territory as the clock stops at 24 seconds as the chains move. As the clock winds down, as you can see, they're going to win this football game 28-18 over the Stafford Indians.
And as you see, the congratulations as Mike Jenkins took a couple of shots tonight, was briefly laid up on the sideline, but he had it when he counted, threw 3 touchdown passes to Terrence Dinkins, and the Devils opened the scoring in the 1st quarter with a 10-yard run by Brandon Jones. So the Devils have to be pleased to come away with the victory. It wasn't a real great week of practice, Lou Sorrentino told me on Thursday, but Blue Devils have something to watch in the film room this week. They can see it. Everybody that plays them, with 3 games left, it will make their season if they can beat the Devils. It'll make their season if they can get a couple of touchdowns on the Devils. And they're going to be out there playing hard. The young men know this. And what faces them ahead now, if they can continue to play well and win these last 3 games, look for the home field advantage in the playoffs. But what they've got to do is win 1 game each week. Go 1-0 each week. WIN, what's important now? Win 1 game. So the Devils score 7 in the 1st quarter, 14 in the 2nd quarter. They add 7 in the 4th quarter. They get 28 points. Stafford had a field goal in the first quarter. They had 7 in the third quarter. They tacked on 8 points in the fourth quarter. So gets the score up to 28-18. It was a happy homecoming up here. It wasn't homecoming for Stafford. It was a happy homecoming for Lou Sorrentino. And, of course, Todd Campbell graduated here in the late 80s, played wide receiver, and Lou Sorrentino was his coach. I want to thank Jim Jones, the athletic director. Lou Sorrentino coached a couple of his sons when he was here, and real nice man, always real pleasant to be here, nice hospitality, and I know they certainly enjoyed Peg's cookies. So Brian will be looking ahead to on the road with a lengthy road trip to James Wood next week.
It's the final score of the football games. Culpeper County Blue Devils defeat the Stafford County Indians 28-18.
Devils, we're live tonight at Jerry Kellican Stadium. This is James Wood Colonels, 1-5, come in against the Culpeper Devils, 7-0 with an off week next week, and the Devils looking to successfully finish the first part of their season. Looking forward to the off week before homecoming, then the final game of Fauquier. This is Brooks Green bringing you Blue Devil football tonight, along with Brian Wolf and the Colonels, coached by Ed Scott, who's been here 3 years. They only have a 1-5 record, but they have some excellent players we'll be talking about as the game goes on, and you got to give the credit to the coach, Ed Scott. They came up here from Patrick Henry, but previously at Parkview, he won a state title, so he knows how to win. Tough game last week for the Colonels. They lost to Fauquier 17-7. Their lone touchdown, though, came on a 96-yard pass play, so they're looking to make the big pass play. They have some excellent big backs. Quarterback that we talked with Lou Sorrentino about yesterday, Dale Umps. And he's a good athlete. He likes to get on the corner and cause the Blue Devils some problems in that area. The 4-4 defense we can look for James Wood, but the Devils think they can handle it. And it's almost time for the kickoff, and here is Brian Wolf.
And here comes the Colonels kickoff, and it's straight down the middle. Dare the far sideline, out of bounds for the flag.
Thanks for catching that Culpeper feeling, and thanks for joining us for Culpeper Blue Devil football on Channel 21. These games are brought to you by
The Colonels will be 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils at their own 35-yard line. First play of the game is a handoff to Addison Deal around the left side, cuts it up in the middle. Colonels stop it after a short gain on the play. No gain on that last play for the Blue Devils. 2nd and 10, still at their own 35-yard line. Jenkins back to pass, going to the far side. Got Dinkins down there, and he breaks one tackle and is off to the races here. Picks up a little bit of speed. He's in Colonel territory down about the 35-yard line.
Of course, we've seen Terrence Dinkins before with that fingertip reception on the far sideline. Good start for the Devils on offense. Of course, Dinkins has 7 touchdown receptions this year. Mike Jenkins has thrown 14 TD passes. Of course, you notice on the first play, Addison Deal starting the game for the Devils. Brandon Jones missed practice this time with some illness in the family, and he'd been out of town for that. Talked to Lou yesterday, and he said they had 6 Blue Devils starters that did not practice on Wednesday. So a little banged up and hoping to do well this game, and then we'll need the off week next week to get rested up.
First down 10 for the Blue Devils. Hand off to Crop. Sidesteps one man and falls ahead for about a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5 for the Blue Devils, just underway in the first quarter. 10:20 to go. There's a snap. Jenkins back to pass again, looking to the near side this time. Got Dinkins again with the reception as the defender falls down, cuts it inside. It's off to the end zone for Terrence Dinkins. Touchdown, Blue Devils.
Well, I tell you, it's going to be some talking in the 6th period on Monday, because John Cagle down there just nailed one of the defensive backs and sprung Dinkins for the touchdown. Great play that time. We'll call it from the 31-yard line. And the Devils took the ball smartly on their own 35. They moved to the 35 of James Wood on one pass play, got to the 31, and then bang, there they go in the end zone. And the Devils doing what they'd hoped to do, use their speed on the outside against James Wood. Greenaway on to add the extra point now.
Jenkins with a snap, Orange with the hold, Greenaway with the kick. It's up there high enough, and it's good. 10:09 to go in the first quarter play. The Culpeper County Blue Devils now lead the football game 7-0 over the James Wood Colonels. And here's Greenaway with kickoff, high and deep, straight down the middle. And it's Shepard on the return, tries to bring it here to the near side, and in on that tackle are a host of Blue Devils, including Addison Deal and Brendan Souter. Here come the Colonels on their first possession. 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Back to pass. And he fools around there a little bit, throws it deep over the middle, and incomplete on that pass play. 2nd and 10 for the Colonels, still at their 21-yard line. Turning clock, stop clock, 9:57. Long snap count. Fake handoff up the middle, pitch to the outside. The ball is on the ground, and the Colonels cover it up just outside the goal line, it looks like. 3rd and long for the Colonels. 3rd and 28 now after that fine defensive play last time by Ryan Back. Colonels look over the defense, and a quick handoff up the left side. Number 17, Clay Ellis, short gain on the play. And it's the Colonels back to punt, 4th and 24, 8:43 to go in the first quarter. We got Stephen Barber back deep to return the punt. The rush is on. Curtis Robinson, it looks like he got a fingertip on it. Short punt, fielded here inside the 40-yard line by Stephon Orange of the Colonels.
And Devils did not have rough in the kick at that time because Curtis Robinson was blocked into the punt, and the ref stand right there nodding his head. So that's a good play, good field position for the Devils. They scored in 4 plays just a moment ago. Take a 7-0 lead on a touchdown pass to Terrence Dinkins of 31 yards.
Second possession of the game for the Blue Devils. They're in Colonel territory at the 35-yard line. 8:30 to go in the first quarter. Addison Deal in the backfield. Crop gets the ball around the right side, tackled in the backfield for a loss.
Lou Sorrentino mentioned yesterday big Chris Bully, and he's 6'2", 270. He was all league last year, and he said, Brooks, he can really play. And you saw him that time. Good pursuit from the back, and he ran down Crop. So a tough play for the Devils. They'll come back.
2nd and 14 for the Blue Devils, back at the Colonel's 39-yard line. Dinkins to the far side. Jenkins back to pass. Pump fakes. Throws it deep down here to the near side. Intended for John Cagle. Overthrown. Pass incomplete. 3rd and 14 now for the Blue Devils. Looks like John Cagle here to the near side, along with Terrence Dinkins. Jenkins back to pass. Looking here to the near side. Deep drop. Lots of time. Dumps it off here to John Cagle with a little bit of room. Not much. Stiff arm and drop down about the 36-yard line. And the Blue Devils are going for it on 4th down. 4th and 10. Brandon Jones in motion to the far side, leaves one back in the backfield. Got there with Terrence Dinkins, and Jenkins takes a deep drop screen pass here to Ryan Back. Gets a good block up here on the side and sidesteps, and he picks up the 1st down, and he's off toward the end zone. He's in for a touchdown for the Blue Devils, and there's a late flag on the play.
Well, I'll tell you, the happy young man on this near sideline, it was Kyle Kennedy. That big block had sprang him on his side. And, Brian, I'll tell you one thing. When you put Bryant and Brandon Jones in the ball game and they've seen the film, you flank him out to the right side, and then you come back with the screen over to this side. That is an excellent play for the Devils, and we're going to see that in future games. I like that play a lot, but we'll have to see what the penalty is here. Looks like it's a clip. And let me tell you, it wasn't on Kyle Kennedy. He had a good block down there. I'm not sure when they saw the penalty. Maybe it'll show up on the tape as you watch it here this weekend, beginning of the week.
Was a clipping penalty against the Blue Devils in that last possession, but as a result of Ryan Back's fine reception and run, they still had the 1st down. Crop right up the middle, spins ahead and turns ahead and falls down after a gain of about 3 or 4 yards. Touchdown.
I tell you that is really something. Look at Cagle and Dinkins congratulating each other in the end zone, but that's going to be a 15-yard touchdown to Terrence Dinkins, and he has 2 already tonight, leading scorer in the metropolitan area, as reported by the Washington Post. He came in with 7 touchdown receptions. He now has 9. And Mike Jenkins, that's up to 16 touchdown passes, and the Devils look sharp on offense. A couple of unusual plays there, but I like that screen a moment ago. Here's Greenaway on to add the extra point.
Snap by Jenkins, the hold by Orange, and the kick by Greenaway. And it's a successful PAT. 6:30 to go in the opening quarter. The Culpeper County Blue Devils now lead the football game 14-0 over the James Wood Colonels. And here's Greenaway's kickoff once again, deep and straight down the middle. And it's Perkins once again from his own 5. And the Blue Devils missed the first tackle, but Stephen Barber is in on that second tackle at about the 30-yard line. It looked 20-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for the Colonels. Now 6:24 to go in the first quarter at their own 23-yard line. And in the backfield are the Blue Devils, Philip Young and Curtis Robinson, and they get nowhere.
I'll tell you, it was misdirection, but it's only as good as the blocking up front. You can have all of the sleight of hand you want to in the backfield, and Philip Young was there to just nail him. So excellent play. They lose yardage all the way back to the 20-yard line.
2nd and 12 now for the Colonels from their own 20-yard line. And back to pass, quick strike out here to the near side is Perkins, and in on that tackle is Stephon Orange. After that last pass completion, it's now 3rd down and 3 for the Colonels. I formation. Looking over the defense and fake handoff to the fullback, and running back gets the ball, tries to bring it outside, but the Blue Devils stop him after no gain on the play.
Curtis Robinson, first contact that time, didn't bring him down, but the host of the Blue Devils return. It's good to see Curtis Robinson back, and that ankle's in pretty good shape, and good to see him back and miss some people here at practice. I want to give credit to Stephon Orange a moment ago that picked up that snap on the extra point and got it down for Greenaway for the 14th point. Devils scored with 10:09 to go in the first quarter, and then with 6:30 to go in the first quarter. They lead it 14-0, and it's homecoming here at James Wood, but not the way that they'd hoped.
Fourth down and a short 3 for the Colonels as they punt. Back deep is Stephen Barber and Stephon Orange. And Stephon Orange falls down as he catches that ball. A little bit of a shoestring catch there. First and 10 for the Blue Devils from their own 41-yard line. Got John Cagle in motion, but there's a pitch out to Addison Deal around the right side. Finally, a little bit of room for the Blue Devil rushing attack as he gains about 4 or 5 yards. Second down and 6 for the Blue Devils as Ryan back in motion. Got Cagle and Dinkins to the near side this time. I formation. For the Blue Devils as Ryan back in motion. Got Cagle and Dinkins to the near side this time. I formation. There's a snap. Handoff up the middle to Jermaine Crop. Big hole this time. Cuts it outside. A little bit of a block by Dinkins. It's off to the races. Being chased from behind. He's at the 15 where he's brought down at about the 10-yard line.
Tell you once again, those Blue Devil receivers blocking. Great block by Dinkins that time. And he cut to the outside. Devils look really sharp on offense. They started on their own 41, and now they have the ball inside the 20. Looked like about the 16-yard line of James Wood. Devils threatening to put the third touchdown the first quarter on the board. Good blocking up front. Great running. Blue Devils got that stallion of run and the stable of running backs there, and they can absolutely get it done.
11-yard line.
First and 10 for the Blue Devils from their own 12-yard line. Finally got that rushing attack going. And they're going right back to it again, but this time they're met in the backfield and pushed backwards. Second down and 13 for the Blue Devils. Looks like Souter and Deal in the backfield. Back to pass, quick over the middle to the tight end. Touchdown, Ryan Back.
Nice slant over the middle there to Ryan Back, and for Back on the season, that's his third touchdown reception. He had one on a fumble return we saw, and the Devils have got it all together. They hit him to the outside, they hit him to the inside, and that nice slant to the tight end. So Devils with 20-0 to lead, and Greenaway on to add the extra point. And watch Stephon Orange, watch his quick hands on this, grabbing the ball and putting it down here and getting a good snap.
Snap by Jenkins, the hold by Orange, and the kick by Greenaway. And it's through the uprights for a successful point after try. 3:08 to go in the first quarter. The Culpeper Blue Devils now lead the football game 21-0 over the James Wood Colonels. Greenaway's kickoff, low and spinning down the middle and into the end zone, through the end zone for a touchback. First down and 10 for the Colonels from their own 20 as the Colonels get ready to take the snap, and there's a snap. Back to pass, rolling to the near side here. Plenty of time. Throws it right over the middle, completed out near the 30-yard line.
Oomph had some oomph on that one. I know it's been said before. It was Perkins that hauled it in, and it's close to the 30-yard line, the first down. Let me tell you, James Wood needs one. Their first possession, they were minus 12 yards and 3 and out. The second possession, they gained 7 yards, went 3 and out again. So until that pass, they went negative yardage, and they do pick up their first down of the ball game. The Devils, by the way, have 3, but they also have 3 touchdowns.
After that first down pickup, the Colonels now have the ball at their own 30-yard line, and a quarterback keeper and the linebacker in there to make the stop. Looks like number 32, Jeremy Bailey, to stop that quarterback sneak. Second down and 6 for the Colonels at their own 34-yard line. Quick strike out to the far side, tipped at the line of scrimmage, and pass incomplete. Third and 6 for the Colonels. They got 2 wide outs to the far side, 1 back in the backfield. And he's rolling to the far side to look for that pass. Maybe he's running and brought down the backfield by Ryan Back for a loss on the play.
Great pressure by the Devils. They let James Wood pick up 1 first down, but that's going to be it. Ryan Back just ran him down. Devils have to be pleased how they play on offense and defense. They lead it 21-0. There's 1:50 to go. The turning clock in the first quarter.
Fourth and 16 for the Colonels as they're on to punt. Back deep again are Barber and Orange, and there's the punt. A little bit of hang time on his punt as it's going to bounce right about the 45-yard line of the Blue Devils and down inside the 45-yard line by the Colonels. First and 10 for the Blue Devils as they take over at their own 44-yard line. Back to pass again is Jenkins, and receiver falls down, and the pass is incomplete. Try it again. After an illegal procedure call, it's now 2nd and 15 for the Blue Devils. Handoff to Addison Deal here as he tries to take it outside.